Did you know the Bible is packed with mind-blowing miracles, second chances, and powerful life lessons? From the creation of life to seas parting, these stories reveal God's unmatched power and love. Stick around. These stories will leave you speechless and catapult your faith. Let's dive in. In this, from absolutely nothing, God spoke light, oceans, and life itself into existence. The heavens, the earth, everything perfectly designed. But here's the best part. You were created with the same intentional care and purpose. Have you ever stopped to truly see the beauty of God's creation all around you? You are fearfully and wonderfully made, crafted with purpose and care, because we are created in His image. Never forget, you are a masterpiece. Created in His likeness, created in His image. Just think about that for a moment. The Creator of the heavens, the earth, and every breathtaking wonder you see, crafted you. Look around. The towering mountains, the oceans that stretch endlessly, the brilliance of a sunrise, and the intricate beauty of a single flower. He made it all for you to enjoy, to remind you of His love. But it doesn't stop there. In the embrace of loved ones, in the laughter shared with friends, in moments of pure joy and connection, we see something deeper. We were made for more. More than just living day to day. We were made to love, to cherish, and to stand in awe of all that God has given us. You weren't created by accident. You weren't created without purpose. You are part of a divine plan, loved beyond measure, and surrounded by reminders of God's goodness. So pause, take a look around, and remember this incredible truth. You were intentionally created by the hands of God Himself, and His wonders are everywhere for you to see. When the world was filled with wickedness and humanity turned away from God, one man stood apart, Noah. He was righteous, faithful, and obedient. God chose him, giving him a monumental task, to build an ark, a massive vessel that would save his family and preserve every kind of living creature from the coming flood. Imagine yourself in his place, day after day, hammering and building, while the world around you laughed and mocked. Would you have the faith to obey God, even when His plan seemed impossible? Would you trust Him enough to follow, knowing that storms were on the horizon? Noah's story is more than a tale of survival. It's a reminder that obedience to God brings safety, even in life's fiercest storms. When the world doubts, trust in Him. When the storms rage, obey His voice. Because through Noah, we see this truth. Faith in God always leads to salvation. On a quiet mountain in the land of Moriah, Abraham faced the ultimate test of faith. God had asked him to sacrifice his beloved son, Isaac, the child of promise. In his obedience, Abraham, along with his son Isaac, accompanied by 2 servants, proceeded to the mountain. Step by step they climbed. With every moment, Abraham trusted that God had a plan. Isaac, unaware, asked, "Father, where is the lamb?" And Abraham's response echoed through time, "God will provide." As Abraham prepared to obey, the angel of the Lord cried out, "Do not lay a hand on the boy." And there in the thicket, God provided a ram, a sacrifice in Isaac's place. This moment wasn't just a test, it was a promise, a reminder that God's provision is always on time and His blessings follow faith. The same God who provided for Abraham provides for us today. Trust Him, even in the hardest moments. God will provide, and faith brings the blessing. Joseph was his father's favorite son. gifted with a robe of many colors and dreams of greatness. But his dreams fueled his brothers' jealousy. One day, they plotted against him. Stripped of his robe, betrayed by his own family, Joseph was thrown into a pit and sold into slavery in Egypt. Even in Egypt, Joseph's integrity stood firm. He rose to power in Potiphar's house, where he was falsely accused by Potiphar's wife and cast into prison. Yet, even in the darkest moments, God was with him. In prison, Joseph interpreted dreams, a gift from God that would change his life forever. When Pharaoh had troubling dreams, Joseph was called to interpret them, revealing a coming famine. Pharaoh appointed Joseph ruler over Egypt, second only to himself. During the famine, Joseph's brothers came to Egypt seeking food. They bowed before him, fulfilling the very dreams they once mocked. Joseph revealed himself, not with revenge, but with forgiveness, saying, "What you meant for evil, God meant for good." Joseph's journey teaches us that God can use even our greatest trials for his purpose. From the pit to the palace, Joseph's faith never wavered, and through him, God saved nations and reconciled a family. After centuries of slavery in Egypt, the Israelites finally tasted freedom. With hearts full of hope and eyes fixed on the horizon, they followed Moses, the man chosen by God, out of Egypt and into the wilderness. God's mighty hand had broken Pharaoh's grip, but Pharaoh's heart, hardened by pride and fury, would not let them go so easily. As the Israelites camped by the shores of the vast Red Sea, their joy turned to dread. In the distance, the thunder of hooves and the rumble of chariots filled the air. The Egyptian army was closing in, their intent clear: to drag the Israelites back into bondage. Fear gripped the people, but in this moment of crisis, God's power was about to be revealed in a way they could never imagine. Trapped between Pharaoh's army and the Red Sea, the people cried out in fear. But Moses declared, "Do not be afraid, stand firm, and you will see the deliverance the Lord will bring today." By God's power, the Red Sea parted, creating a path of escape for his people. The Israelites walked through on dry ground, trusting in the Lord's protection. But Pharaoh's army followed closely behind, determined to capture them. As the last Israelite stepped to safety, Moses stretched out his hand, and the waters returned, swallowing Pharaoh's army. Not a single soldier remained. God had delivered his people in a miraculous display of his power. This moment wasn't just a rescue. It was a declaration of God's faithfulness. When all seemed lost, God made a way. The parting of the Red Sea is a reminder that no obstacle is too great when the Lord is with us. Trust him, and he will deliver you too. I hope you enjoyed these 5 short stories. Thank you for spending time with us today. If you loved these stories, there's so much more waiting for you. Don't forget to tune in every week for fresh content. And while you wait, feel free to explore more captivating stories, fun quizzes, and engaging shorts right here on the channel. Keep feeding that curiosity and finding inspiration in every moment. Remember, you're always welcome here. Stay curious, stay blessed, and may God continue to guide and uplift you. See you soon.